here with PC Solutions Net. So today we're going to go through a little bit about the fallout from the CrowdStrike issue. So first of all, CrowdStrike, it's a very large security software company. So a lot of larger companies use CrowdStrike for security. Not that much in the small business space, in the small to medium space. CrowdStrike is more known on the enterprise side. So your home machines in your office, if you're a small to medium business, probably you don't use CrowdStrike. Historically, CrowdStrike, their rise to fame was when they caught a few hacker groups and things like that. So they quickly rose to a status of, top known for corporate security. And they were founded in 2011, so yeah, they rose very quickly through the ranks. The issue that happened is one update that caused this problem, which impacts all Windows machines, and I made a video on Friday about this. So the issue is this one update that breaks Windows machines. Now, CrowdStrike works on Windows machines, and it's a Windows-only application. So if you have a Mac or Linux or whatever, they're not impacted. This is just Windows. And you can fix a machine that has been impacted by this. By the way, the impact is that the machine will give you a blue screen of death. So you really cannot use Windows anymore. So you have to boot into safe mode. You have to rename one file. And if you rename that one file and restart it, it will fix itself with the next update and everything will be fine. The problem is, if you are a security conscious company and you are using BitLocker on all your devices, now to mount that drive in safe mode, you will need the BitLocker key. A lot of times companies either don't have easy access to these keys or only certain people have access to these keys. So it kind of creates a hurdle for people to fix these machines, because even if they boot into safe mode, they cannot access the drive. So they cannot, like if they boot from an alternate media, they cannot access the drive. They'll need the key to mount it. There's a little bit of pain there. We've talked about people using, Mac OS versus Windows, versus Linux. So in this case, if you're not using Windows, then you don't have this issue. That's what's been going on with the CrowdStrike problem. Now, I did say that SMBs are not impacted by CrowdStrike, not directly. There are some indirect repercussions here, because I know a lot of customers where their providers, their suppliers might be large Fortune 500 companies. And these large Fortune 500 companies are impacted by the CrowdStrike issue, then their shipments may get delayed, which may cause delays on the SMB side of things as well, just because upstream everything is getting delayed. So that is going to be felt all the way downstream. So we are seeing more and more of that happening. It's not as bad right now, but I'm estimating that is going to get a little bit worse before it gets better, just because that it's going to take time for that impact to flow down a little bit. So if you are impacted by this, let us know. Let me know how you got around it, how you fixed it. One of the main things that CrowdStrike really grew so fast was because people were starting to work more and more remotely, and CrowdStrike allowed enterprises to manage these remote devices. Well, if a device is remote and something like this happens, it's very hard for IT administrators at the main enterprise to get access to these machines that cannot boot to fix them. So it caused a whole nother part of logistics issues that were unanticipated. So that's the thing when deciding on a security software. You want to make sure that you make the right decision. I'm not saying don't use CrowdStrike or don't use one, vendor A or vendor B. Ultimately, it's like MSP, RMM software. You can say that your software has never been impacted, but it's only a matter of time. Sooner or later, every software is going to be impacted. So let me ask you something in a different way. let's say CrowdStrike has been impacted by this issue already, so they're going to put fixes in place so that it doesn't happen again to mitigate this in future. However, would you rather use CrowdStrike going forward, or would you rather use another security software that has not been impacted by this yet and that has not implemented mitigations for something like this? So it's only a matter of time that they are going to get impacted. That's one of those things that people in the MSP space think about, right? Like when SolarWinds got impacted, we, even though we weren't using SolarWinds, but we were like, oh, well, this can impact us. And the lesson learned from that was that when the Kaseya issue happened after the SolarWinds incident, we were not impacted because we saw what happened at SolarWinds and we put mitigations in place already. But there were a lot of MSPs out there that did not have those mitigations in place, that did get impacted, and it almost shut them down. Some of them actually are out of business now, but it almost shut down certain other MSPs who did not have these mitigations in place. So it's a good learning process here that we can use this example to learn from. And as far as updates go, always deploy updates in a sample environment before rolling them out in production. Until next time, everybody, have a great day and be safe.